gather round me, children, I'll tell you the news. Don't worry about the names or dates, you already know it's true. The doctor hates your baby, the prime minister's a ghost, and all them folks are sailing here 'cause they're in love with boats. Superfoods can save us from all our evil sin. JFK and Elvis own a bar in Wisconsin. And vaccinations were created by the CIA to steal votes from Bernie Sanders and turn your babies gay. So click the link you think you like and get tooled for a fight against those lefty fascist communists who are leaning too far right.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Fake Disaster Guys, a brand new podcast that has one episode only and it's going to be a swapcast across 3 different podcasting channels. My name is Gordo from Those Conspiracy Guys.
And I'm Jerry from Not Another Fake Newscast.
I'm Paul from Not Another Fake Newscast.
I'm another Paul, not from the other fake newscast, from Those Conspiracy Guys.
I'm Johnny from Offley and Disaster Artists.
And so we went on a big camping adventure trip at the weekend, survival kind of I don't know, practice. Was it a practice,
trial
like
run.
a test?
First run of this.
Yeah, first run. And all of you lovely listeners all sent us a variety of instruments, tools, objects, and I guess food. Clothing,
some lovely bolognese and some lovely all-day breakfast. I say lovely, a Mexican tuna pasta, which was
really
kind of one of the worst
universally
things I've ever
hated.
put in my mouth.
The tuna pasta was good. I'm gonna have to put in there. The tuna pasta was good. I actually took one home later and decanted it into a bowl.
Oh, Paul.
And it was big, juicy, flaky pieces of tuna inside the foil bag.
We'll get back to the Mexican tuna pasta in a minute. You can say you're full.
We are yet to find something that Paul Kelly won't eat, though.
Yeah. That's a whole different video. So what we did was the idea was we were going to get a whole lot of survival gear and see what would happen if a kind of an apocalypse scenario would play out in Ireland. Would we be able to survive? At the end of this, we're going to tell you whether we could or not. But this little show is just kind of like a run over what happened. It's kind of for Patreons, but also for everybody as well. But mostly like the Patreons, the people who are in our Discord server. We were kind of chatting before we went out on the trip, and we decided what we were going to do and the little set pieces and stuff. So we'll just tell you a little bit more about that, and then you can keep your eyes out for the videos that are going to be upcoming. For some of them are going to be exclusively for Patreon on all of the different channels for Not Another Fake Newscast, Disaster Artists, and Those Conspiracy Guys Patreon channels. So it's like it was stressful. It was great crack. It was cold. It was rainy. It was wet. And that's nice if you were a lady, but it's no good if you're on a fucking mountain. And we had
cold,
not cold. I mean wet. And so we put up loads of stuff on social, and people were all like, "Hey, don't get raped up there," which was like the predominant message. Like, do we think that there's like random wild rapists around the?
And we were like 90% successful in that.
Like that 10% is the tip, just for a second.
That's why Shane's not here.
That was the only reason I was going to be raped.
Didn't happen. It didn't happen. A lot of rape comments on Facebook or Twitter and stuff, and a lot of banjo jokes. I don't know what it is with men in camping. Like, we thought, as we were going along, we thought like, what's the whole thing with like getting fucked up the arse if you're a man going camping? Has Deliverance ruined camping for men?
I think it's maybe Brokeback Mountain that's ruined camping for men.
Do you think?
Well,
it was more love than rape.
You say ruined.
It was more love than rape.
Yes, I think it was. Like, it was initially like unwarranted, but then eventually like he licked his hand and it all went swimmingly. So
like Stockholm syndrome for rape.
Maybe so. So we all went up the mountain, and we were sponsored by Vango for some of the elements that we brought with us, some of the tents, some of the sleeping bags, and a load of the food and stuff like that. We went up Friday afternoon, spent all Friday day and Friday night at a hut in Brusher's Gap in Wicklow, and there's a kind of a camping hut, like a survival area there, and we camped all around that, and then we descended back down the mountain, and we went over to Loch Dan and camped on the shores of Loch Dan and made all our videos that day a lot easier, a lot more kind of palatable for a video production. Up on the mountain with the wind and the rain and the blowy and the fucking all the stuff that was happening. It was like
The threat of rape.
yeah,
The constant threat.
This is it. That could come from any side.
We made a friend up in the mountain.
We did make a friend, and we'll talk about him in a second. And then on Sunday, we kind of finished up at Loch Dan. We got all our stuff together, made a load of videos. It was a little bit stressful, I have to admit. I was a bit stressed out trying to get everything done. And then we had like a nice campfire Saturday night. Sunday morning, got up at the crack of noon and packed up all our stuff and drove home. And now today we're going to meet Christine, who was one of the major Patreons for our camping trip. She bought us loads of the stuff that we went off to try and not die with, and we're just going to finish this up and go for a beer with her. So, lads, camping, was it everything that you expected it to be?
Everything and more.
And more. I think drinking the lake water was very...
Yeah, I've never started a fire
experiential.
before. I've always wanted to start a fire. I thought that's a thing you're going to need to know how to do should the shit hit the fan.
It's
the proverbial.
probably it's the most essential thing.
And it turned out you were a natural, Paul.
Yeah, I needn't have worried. It turns out I can actually do it with my mind.
You're a
I close
natural
my eyes and-
arsonist.
Yeah.
I think the Prodigy wrote a song about you, man.
They did indeed.
Smack my bitch up.
So Friday, we were preparing. Me and Johnny were out with Paul and Jerry for Friday night. Paul unfortunately was working and he couldn't make it all the way up the mountain. It was fucking a physically arduous task. But me and Johnny only started our day really at like 12, maybe 2 between 12 and 2 in the afternoon. Paul and Jerry from Scotland, you guys were up at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Like how did that all go
So I got up at 3:15.
in the morning?
Yeah, the car
That's
had been
fucked.
parked, so we packed the car the evening before. I picked Jerry up around about 4 o'clock, and then we headed off on a 2 and a bit hour journey to the ferry port, onto the ferry, something to eat on the ferry, and then
We drank a bit in the ferry as well, both of us.
only enough to make me below the legal limit for driving the rest of the journey.
Exactly, 1 unit per hour, and then you had like 2 units and 2 hours rest, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
perfect.
exactly what happened.
Perfect.
And there was a PS4 on the ferry, so we
Fuck
played a bit
off.
of PS4.
For free, we just played Pro. We played Pro Ev. As it turns out, me and Jerry are shit at Pro Ev.
3 games, no goals.
And was it hooked up to like a cinema screen or something like that? No.
No, it was like there was 2 TVs. One had Ratchet and Clank on it, and one had Pro Ev.
And they were free to
2016.
play?
Free to play. I mean, they did have.
That's
these,
really annoying.
That is really annoying.
They had these. They had these fucking terrifying torture chairs that you had to sit on. That kinda were like a sloped cushion with no footbit that you had to kind of rest yourself. I was
Like,
to
wait,
make you not
wait.
stay there.
Like a Chinese cushion?
Well, I don't know. Do the Chinese people? Oh, like
Sloped. He can say that. He's allowed to say that.
Yeah, I have the card here somewhere in my back pocket.
He's allowed to say. I remember going across on the ferry like years ago when I was a kid, going to and from. You know, it was an Irish thing where if anyone had to leave the country to get an abortion, they were always accompanied by like a disaffected fat teenager. So we used to go back and forward on the Sten line. That's not true, but you know, repeal. We used to go back and forward on the Sten line, and it was like 50 pence to have like a go of like Street Fighter or Altered Beast or any of those arcade games, and there was arcade games all over the whole ship.
I remember going on
Amazing.
school tours on the Stena Line ferry and spending all my money in the arcade.
Absolutely.
And being broke.
I'd have it done. All the money is gone before you step
It's
off
like,
the
I can't
fucking
even
boat,
get into
man.
Alton Towers now.
Yeah.
Jerry played Big Buck Hunter. I do have a video of Jerry playing Big Buck Hunter for money. It turns out that Jerry is shit at Big Buck Hunter.
That's not true. I caught loads of turkeys, remember?
Yeah, there's a turkey special game where the turkeys run across the road.
Hold on. What colour were the turkeys? Were they purple?
Purple turkeys.
Purple. Yeah, you were.
Purple burglar alarms.
You were a purple turkey hunter. Could you say that?
Purple turkey hunter. I can't even say that. I can't even say that.
Say purple turkey hunter.
Purple
again.
turkle.
Purple turkey hunter.
That's what we've had to listen to all weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I was singing in the shower this morning, and I was singing like Whitney Houston songs in my head, like, but they were all in a Scottish accent. Because I just really listened to these two cunts talking in Scottish the whole weekend. Like everything is in Scottish.
I'm pretty sure I started picking up a Scottish accent at one point.
My inner monologue was in Scottish for ages. I was like,
your brain just shouting at you aggressively.
Yeah. See you. Wipe your own arse.
Gordo.
It's actually quite nice having your inner voice be Scottish. It kind of gets you on the right track mentally. I
think
feel.
so.
They always use Scottish voices in all the bank adverts, man. They always use Scottish voices because we are considered to be fiscally prudent.
And that widow as well.
Man,
that's a hot widow, man.
Yeah, she
I feel bad for the fella that died on her.
So Friday, you guys were across on the boat. You landed into Johnny's, dropping off your cases, putting all the stuff together. Now we, for weeks and weeks and weeks, have had, I think, like for the last 8 weeks, maybe 9 weeks, have had a minimum of once a weekly meetings online in appear.in/ those conspiracy guys,
and at least 10 minutes of those conversations was planning.
Yeah, at least at the very least. Yeah, but we were trying to plan all this stuff together, trying to find out what we're going to do, like all the videos that we're going to do. Like it was a content mission, but also to see if we could survive ourselves as well. Like it was a personal kind of a quest for me anyway, because I'm going to be going to America next September. Fingers crossed, please God, cross my heart and hope to die, all those things. And if I'm like, trying to hike up Mount Shasta with a camera and not sound like an asthmatic, it's going to be like my fitness levels for Friday, even carrying the bags like to and from the car, and just being in the car and having like pants that fasten and stuff like that. Like,
normally I don't.
Well, I'm on sweatpants duty now that I'm at home in the office. So like just the general level of nominal fitness that you would need just to like get out of your house in an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Is considerable.
Yeah, and I think we all had a bit of a wake up call when we had to hike up that mountain with our packs and stuff. We were all a bit like, holy shit, this is hard.
Well, this is it. Like Johnny had picked a place in Brusher's Gap, is the name, right? Brusher's Gap.
Yeah.
And it's like a little hut, and it's open to the public, right?
Yeah.
So Friday we all drove there from Dublin to Wicklow, maybe like half an hour's drive. We parked at the car park at the bottom of the hill, and then we went to go up this thing. And Jerry here was our navigator. He had the GPS on the phone, and he's like, don't worry, lads, it's only like says 2 kilometers from here. And it reminded me of the scene in Dumb and Dumber where Lloyd was going to Harry like, we've only gone this far on the map. Like it was like, dude, you don't know how to fucking read a fucking map, because it was 2 kilometers straight up in the air, literally like vertical.
I can't let Jerry take the brunt of that though, because I was the one who before Jerry was navigating said, Google says it's 30 minutes, it's probably just 15.
Yeah.
Both Johnny and Jerry lied to me,
Gordon,
who essentially are the two portly ones out of the group. About Johnny was like, it's 5 minutes. What he meant was, it's not 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's fucking miles.
Well, under my breath, I said, as the crow flies.
Yeah. When I was looking at my map,
that cunt can fly though.
When I was looking at my phone, I knew how long it was, but I also knew that if I told you that, it would break you.
Well, that's what I was operating, because I knew you could do it. But if we had said like this is going to be a huge trek, you'd be like, let's go somewhere else.
Okay.
But
I appreciate you saving me the initial pain, but afterwards I was like, I will never believe those two things.
But
ever again.
We might have lost all trust from you, but I bet you're glad you still done it.
No.
Really?
Yeah, of course not.
I would say that's not true, because now you know
it's not true.
Yeah, now you know that if you tried to do that in America with Just Claire, you'll be dead in the wilderness alone, because
Claire has a very powerful, like, she's her buttocks and thigh muscles are very, very powerful.
Getting sexy, right? Tell us
more.
I'm
saying that she cycles to work like for 45 minutes to and from, like every day. She's down the gym, like the machines are like, get off me. Like she has like her bottom half is like strong like bull, and she
got them plow hips.
Yeah, like she's very strong, and she runs, and she's like fit, like she's able to do all that stuff. So her walking, if she walks at speed, you're talking like at least 8-9 miles an hour. Like she'll fly along, and I'm like, my thighs are rubbing. Please wait. Right. So if she was to go up the mountain, all that like pushing, which is what it was like when we were going. We got to this like laneway, and it was a slight incline, and it's rocky. And I was like, okay, well this for half an hour is grand. And as we turned the corner, we were faced with a set of clay steps that were edged with boards that were hammered in with little logs, and on them had these like U-nails for a bit of grip on mucky boots. And there was about 150 of those at a 45 or more degree angle that we had to climb. So every one of them, when you were putting your foot on it and lifting your whole body weight and the weight of the pack and all the gear you had on you 150 times on alternate legs, like that's gonna fuck up your thighs, your arse, it was a lot of work. And the back, small of the back, your front, trying to keep all that stuff together. I had a camera and I had all the camera gear and the tripods and all this stuff. And as we were going up the mountain, I was like, this is fucked. We got to the top of that, crossed the stile, and then we had another hill that was at an actual 45 degree angle for about 2 kilometers.
Well, I mean, first of all, I would state that it sounds like you've suggested that a basic level of fitness is required to be
absolutely.
your liver.
Oh well, I mean, like I'm heavy. You're going to have to be able to keep it together.
And secondly,
if I'm like bearing down on you like a small,
bringing the ruckus,
like a small Lithuanian motor vehicle, you know, with the weight, just like, you know, you're going to have something, a bit of pushback.
You're a workhorse.
I'm saying I get it done. Like, it's not quick, it's not pretty, but it gets done.
But that first initial bit with the steps you're talking about was the worst bit.
Worst.
Well,
yeah. I think the worst bit was the 45 degree incline with no steps, because that was like, my body was at leaning forward at a 45 degree angle to a 45 degree. I was trying to keep upright while also maintaining the ballast of my gear, you know.
So like me and Johnny and Paul and a few other folks said that over the weekend afterwards, like with those, you know, those walking sticks that you get,
you could be,
would have been a lot
better.
Yeah.
I think they're called ski poles.
Yeah, the ski poles would have helped us out big time, because it would have left a little bit of leverage to keep us upright. Like the small of my back is still not the Mae West, you know.
But I mean, I was carrying things in both my spare hands anyway, so that wasn't even an option.
By things, Johnny means beer.
Yeah.
Johnny was carrying beer,
which he abandoned halfway through and went back to get later on. Like,
well, that was because I knew.
Leave me behind. It's not worth it. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you were discarding ballast. You were like,
yeah. Well, plus I knew me and Jerry were going to make a trip later to get the rest of our stuff.
So tell us about the trip later on. And we got to the campsite. We finally got to the shit road. We had there's a video I have of us walking back from it, but it was basically like a truck full of Nesquik had toppled over and spilled onto the path. There were little bits of sheep shit. So we called it Shit Valley on the way up and the way back. And me and Paul Mac only had to do it up and down once, but the lads had to do it more than once. Can you tell us about that?
More than once, and also in the dark.
Well, before we get to that, we should mention what was waiting for us when we reached the peak of the mountain we just climbed.
Well, this is it. We were going along like up and down. There was a very steep upwards climb, and then there was like a long flat bit. And when we got to the end of that, after cursing each other, ourselves, and God himself, we found that we could have drove the car right up to the hut. We didn't do that though. We did it fucking hardcore, and we found a hut. And as we were, it was like a little mountain trail, kind of up a rocky, craggy. We almost had to climb it. Like my hands were on the ground.
Trees on one side.
Trees on one side. A field of like gravestones. We thought on the other side.
We saw.
We got to the hut. A lot of beer. We got to the hut, and lo and behold, there was like wisps of smoke coming from it already. And our friend Frank.
Well, before, can we make it clear that the hut is essentially a wooden bus shelter? Like, yeah. I mean, like calling it a hut really makes it sound like it was something much more glamorous than it was.
Yeah, it wasn't like a hunter's
just,
cabin or anything.
No,
this
3 walls and a roof.
3 walls and a roof, and lots of spiders hanging off the back of the walls.
Yeah,
I mean,
big time. And I had a water butt, which I didn't stop laughing at.
No, I had a
which
water
is
butt.
like
And weirdly, I guess
a rain collecting tank that you could get like drinking water out of, but you had to like chemically treat it or whatever before you put it in your body. And there was a guy sitting there called Frank from Northern Ireland, and he was like, "Oh, fuck's sake."
He's been a Buddhist for 15 years.
Yeah.
Which made him like a really generous and giving person.
Yeah, big time. I was sitting there.
I'm all for the Buddhists.
I hadn't ate since 7:10 that morning. Like we were getting ready and stuff, and at like 10 o'clock at night, the lads were like, "Do you eat that?" And I was like, "No, not yet." And Frank just comes out with like two boxes of raisins and an apple and a bit of cheese. And he was like, "There you go." I was like.
And this is while me and Jerry had left at this point.
So tell us why you left, or why you had to leave.
Well, we left because we brought no food up with us, because we wanted to lighten the load and get ourselves up there first. And
So think about let's go through the mentality of that, because I think that was one of the worst decisions made over the whole weekend.
A terrible decision. But
I didn't have to live through the ramifications of it. So.
when we started out, we did think that we were quite a short walk from the car. So
Who's we now?
Well, Johnny lied to us and told us that.
Exactly.
and the map kind of said it, but we didn't take into account the gradient.
to be
and stuff.
fair, is why I said I'd come back for the stuff.
Right, that was your reasoning.
Well,
okay,
I wasn't
cool.
gonna like fucking if I was going to like be loose with the facts, I wasn't gonna make anyone else come down.
So we all took our bags, we took our tents, we took other things that we needed. Jerry took 2 bottles of Buckfast, Johnny took a box of beer, and we headed up the mountain. When we got to the top, we had no food.
We had no
but
equipment.
We had Buckfast.
We had no food. I didn't bring my sleeping bag because I thought it's only going to be a few minutes. It's only been like 20 minutes to walk back to the car and get all the rest of the stuff. And I am strong like bull, and I'd be able to put a load of bags and stuff on me if we needed to. I wasn't thinking we were going to be doing like I'm going to the gym and stuff now over the last few weeks, like in a couple of months, and you know I'm doing the exercise, doing all the stuff, and I'm trying to find my fitness level. But going up that mountain was relentless. Like on a machine, if I'm doing the stepper machine, if I'm doing like the free runner, or if I'm doing like a bike, and I do like a fight, I say, alright, I'm going to do bike for 5k and I'm going to do the row machine for 5k. I can see on the thing how often, how much I have to go, and I put the program in and it makes me go uphill or whatever.
Yeah. And also
like this was like real life, relentless. Like there's no going back, there's no stepping off the machine. Like if you step off, you're in the middle of fucking nothing. Like, so we had to keep going, you know.
Yeah.
You kind of do it at your own pace as well,
Yeah.
though, when you're in the gym, and then when you're out in real life, like that's when, because I've done the thing of like running in the gym on the treadmill,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, I'll just go for a run outside.
Not the
and
same.
after 5 minutes,
Yeah.
you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because you run faster when there's not a treadmill there.
Yeah, and it's more like it's about endurance and stamina when you're outside. But it's like that thing, if you can do 50 push-ups, like 50 push-ups is a lot, you can probably do 100, but if you set yourself the goal of 50, you'll struggle to do 51.
Yeah.
But once you're climbing up a mountain and like you reach the
can't stop.
You reach the halfway mark and you're like, well, like going back is difficult, so I've got
Yeah.
no choice. I just have to get to the top.
The windmill conundrum, like, is the point of no return or whatever.
But saying that, like, you did only take a hand. Like, we took breaks. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't like. I think you're almost doing yourself a disservice, making it sound like I know. Like, it was obviously very difficult.
I was dying harder than, like, I was like, like, and the boys were like walking, like whistling and
But you-
fucking fiddling.
but you
their
did
dicks.
it. You did it, man.
No, I know I
got
did
there
it,
and you
but
were
I'm
fine.
saying like, if there was zombies behind me, that was as fast as I could have gone. Like in an apocalypse situation, to be unfit. Anyone out there that's listening, if you're a bit of a couch potato, if you're a bit of a, you know, I'm not doing much. Some shit like that happens, like, and you're not even partially fit.
Yeah.
You're fucked. It's game over. Like, no matter what you think, how good you be with an axe or a gun, or, you know, how fucking smart you be, like, oh, I can hide and I can, you know, hack it. No. If you can't move, you are dushed.
Yeah.
Well,
And I learned that, like, it wasn't even the hard way. It was like, I learned that the mild way by walking up a slight incline.
well, that's what you actually said to us when the boys went down to go and get the other stuff. You
Yeah.
turned round to me and said, "Well, I've now resigned to the fact that in a zombie apocalypse, I'm too unfit and I'm going to die."
I was first to die. I was first to die.
And I
for
was
weekend.
breathing out my arse. I'm not going to
Yeah,
pretend.
but
like,
you
I mean,
weren't
I was-
fucking. You weren't wheezing like me. Like I'm a good, like, I'd say 5 stone heavier than you are, man. At least,
Not,
maybe more.
not 5, but you're certainly a few stone heavier than me here. But
I'm like,
let's not discuss it on here.
no, but I'm saying, like, whatever you are, I am at
People only
least,
know our voices. Let's not ruin the illusion.
yeah, I'm at least, like, it's like 60-70 pounds heavier than you for the Americans out there. Like, that's like at least minimum, maybe more. And if you're looking at a zombie situation, or you're looking at a survival situation, if you don't have basic fitness, bollocks.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I think, like, so going up there was hard the first
Yeah.
time. Going back down in the dark was we had a bit of an incident,
like-
like on
Well, this
the
is
way
the thing.
down.
When we were all up there, all of us set up our tents and stuff like that. So Paul has a Van Gogh tent, and then there was 2 donated from Van Gogh. You have a man in Van Gogh who sponsored the trip, and he gave us a whole bunch of stuff and food and all that stuff. Johnny and I had the Blade 200 tent, which is like a 1 pole, I think 2 man, but like 1 man comfortably tent, very warm, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And those were easy up. So we had it all done in like 40 minutes. Darkness came quick and early. Like, it was dark before 7:30, and then we were like, okay, what do we do now? let's get the skinny boys to go down for the grub. And me and Paul stayed around and we were trying to make a fire and doing all that stuff, having the chats with Frank. Like, to see you guys walk off into the dusk, knowing that you'd have to go down the mountain and back up what we'd just done, I was like, I can't. I was like, I ate the food when you brought it back up. It was totally fine for me, but like,
as they left and started walking down the hill, about 5 minutes past, and then I realised I had the car keys in my pocket.
Yeah.
So they had left and they started walking down. And it's like, I'm just going to shout and hope they hear me because they can't get into the car. Imagine how heartbreaking it would have been if they got all the way down to the bottom and they knew that there was no outcome where the keys were at the top of the hill, they were at the bottom of the hill, and the car was locked at the bottom. I reckon we'd have found them dead the next day.
But no, they would have found them with the back window of the car broke open and the two boys covered in pasta bolognese sleep in the back seat. Like, that's it, man.
I'd have just driven to fucking Scotland. I'd have been like, fuck you guys, I've had enough of this shit.
But it was endurance. What the first night was like a fucking pain in the arse getting up that hill. But we wouldn't be surviving, you know, a zombie apocalypse, going up hills and doing all that stuff. We're trying to find somewhere nice and secure. Like, if we had to secure that place, it would have been much easier. We had like all woods behind us that could be secured. There was only one way up. Now the thing that fucking sickened me when we woke up on Saturday morning, we were like eating our breakfast and making a coffee in the pot, and there was like old couples of like 65, like just like la 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 having a fucking Saturday morning walk up past us when we were like, how the fuck did you get up here?
I was the first person up and I was taking photos in the morning, and while I was taking photos, this actually happened. 60-odd-year-old woman in a bright yellow zipper top and a pair of shorts ran by me.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Just like, well, that's it. You're going to fucking die, and she's not.
At like 20 to 11, we were all sitting around the cooker making a bit of hot water for coffee, and an American woman in a Gillette.
It's the same girl, but ran by back.
She did a loop and she ran back and she went, "Having a lie-in, boys?" And I was like, I will kill you and no one will find you on this mountain, you cheeky bitch.
Yeah,
like,
but no one loves her though.
Maybe, yeah. Her fucking dusty fanny full of spite for fat young people.
If you're running up a hill at 7 o'clock in the morning, that's because there's no one in your bed sticking it in you. Right? Yeah. That's a rule. That's
like running on a flat ground, but running up a hill is extra. It's almost like masochistic punishment. But yeah, like I was a bit envious of these. But like, we seen two lads from one from Czech Republic and one from Slovakia. The two of them came along, and he was wearing like work shoes, you know, steel toe cap boots, and like tracksuit bottoms, and like a Rush t-shirt that was a little bit too small for him, and you could just see the bottom bulge of his belly button or whatever. And he came over to the thing and he was like, "Oh, there's people here." You boys were off up the woods, like, "Hello." And they came over, opened up like a packet, had some like dried fish, had a shot of sherry each, rolled a joint, lit it, and went, "Okay, we'll run away, goodbye." And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with us that we can't make it up a mountain? And these boys are drinking sherry and smoking draw and walking up and down these. It's like, good morning, it's Saturday, we have day off from 14 days 16-hour days work in a row, and we just have some little sherry and have walk. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
At one point we passed two old lads who had came up the hill, and one, he was wearing like a dark blue blazer and a pair of chinos. Like, we're head to toe in mountain survival gear, sweat pissing off us, looking ruined, and they're just like, right lads. Fuck, man.
These two guys look.
Those guys biking down it when we were on the way back.
They absolutely must have scared the shit out of Johnny, because when they came by us, we could see Johnny in the distance. It's like, he doesn't know those bikes are coming, and they are silent. That's right now.
Friday evening, like when we were walking up, I thought it was like, this is the end of the world, man. This is like, this is fucking. I feel like Edmund Hillary or some shit. Like, we were shouting for Sherpas and making laugh about, oh, look at the we're so. And then Saturday morning, we were just like, totally fucking dejected, schooled, like an old dude in a tweed. He was wearing like winkle pickers, and like his pants was tucked into his socks, and they're like, "Morning, fellows." We're like, "You're older than my dad, and you're like up a mountain." I thought the two of them were in for a bum.
He actually said
inside
to
in the forest. There were two of them are very well to do.
Nice day for wearing a kilt.
Yeah,
you prick.
Yeah. I've dropped a £5 note over there, kilt man. Would you mind bending over and picking it up?
But it was scary. It was quite scary going down the hill in the dark because me and Johnny got lost, man, going down there, and we come off the trail. Like we thought we were still on the trail, but the next thing we knew, we were just in amongst the heather and stuff.
And it's like a Scottish folk song. I got lost on the mountain with
we'll
Johnny.
all go together.
But it ended up like you guys had kind of like drank like a fair amount by the time you had gone down.
No, we hadn't got to the.
We're okay.
This was actually the stop where we picked up the beer. No,
we
hadn't
drinking since
actually.
early afternoon. I mean, I'm saying like I know you were able to handle your drink, but like.
But
there was alcohol taken, which made it probably easier to get up and down.
We had a pint. We had 2 pints at lunchtime.
Yeah,
At lunchtime.
But just before we left, you went to the pub, and then Jerry was drinking a hip flask next to me on the way to the mountain.
Okay, but I wasn't drinking.
And there was a crate of Canadian beer, the Canadian whatever lager as well, and that didn't make its way back up.
But that was what we collected on the way down. That was our motivation for going down. It's like we'll have beers on the way down.
That was only 5 minutes from the hut, though.
I don't believe
that was at the spot where we got lost. Like, as in we picked that up, and there's a Y in the road.
This is what I'm saying, right? So you guys got lost in the dark on the way down after half a day's drinking, and immediately after you found a crate of beer that you'd put down on the way back up. I'm just saying those things are not unconnected.
But I genuinely,
they're not unconnected.
I genuinely don't believe that the drunkenness was a factor as such. It's just that it's so much easier to see what way you're supposed to go in the daytime.
Sure.
When you've got a head torch on, and you're only able to see like 2 meters in front of you. You know.
We talked about this on the way down. The head torch almost made it worse because all you can focus on is where that beam of light is.
So it ruined your night vision. Like if you had to let your eyes adjust, you would have been able to see the whole like panorama of where you were going.
Like that Y in the road with the head, and I had a torch as well.
Yeah,
we kind of only saw one path.
All right.
And we just walked. We kind of just walked straight.
That's kind of like a metaphor for life as well, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're too focused on something, right in front of you, you miss like
other opportunities.
A whole lot of other opportunities
the road
all around
less
you.
Traveled,
you know?
And also, much like a metaphor for life, once you've missed the opportunities, you then find a sheep's carcass in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. Death presents itself to you.
Well, yeah, there was a sheep's carcass and a dying sheep as well, which doesn't give you a warm feeling in your tummy when you're lost up a mountain.
Had they like fought to the death? Is that what you just come across some sort of sheep fight club?
This is like
knife fight.
There can be only one.
The survivor of Sheep Highlander. Yeah.
You know what the first rule of Sheep Fight Club is? Bah.
Because the entire way up I kept turning around to you guys and being like, I'm really surprised we haven't seen any sheep skulls. Usually you walk through the mountains, you
Johnny said that to me about 2 or 3 times, and all I could think all the way up the mountain was, that's what a psychopath says.
Johnny said that at McDonald's before the trip, before we left.
Johnny he wished that sheep skull to present itself. It's like Bader Meinhof for sheep skulls. He's like, if I don't see a dead thing to this weekend, it's going to be a waste.
But had I not been thinking that we could be dead now, because it was when we crossed that, I was like, I would have definitely noticed that.
5 feet ahead of that sheep skull is like a sheer cliff drop off. It's just like pass ye not here or something, like Lord of the Flies.
Johnny was like, I would definitely have masturbated over that sheep skull if I'd seen it before.
But it's one of those things like I wonder, and maybe somebody out there who's a sheep farmer had to do with sheep, like
Sheep fan?
No, a sheep farmer, not a sheep fan.
You mean a shepherd?
Yeah, if we have any shepherds out there, or like a sheep farmer, you don't have to be. I think they'd be mutually exclusive. We were up at the hut and we heard this like, and there was a fucking drone flying around. It was one of those ones with a camera. I was thinking, is that a farmer with a drone looking for a sheep? And then the boys on the way down the mountain found one with a gammy hoof, a paw, hoof. It's got a hoof. It's got a paw.
Hoof. It's cloven.
It's got a paw.
It's cloven.
Okay, it's also a hoof. So a sheep's hoof. Like, he had a bad one and he wasn't able to get around. So maybe all the other sheep had like come in for the evening, and this sheep hadn't clocked off from his like daily grass eating or whatever. And he was like, "Hey, we're missing a fucking sheep." Sent the drone out. If any shepherds out there or sheep farmers or anyone who deals with livestock, is that a thing that you do? Is fly a drone out to try and find a lost member of the?
Maybe the same farmer though was like, there's a couple of fat lads up that hill. I hope they're not doing heroin.
But that's
so
the thing.
just like,
That's the thing. They were like, that's
One of them sounded Scottish.
that skinny lad with the glasses looks like he's looking for a sheep's skull for something or another. Like that.
I'd say you're right, Gordo, and I hadn't even thought of that because the modern tags like has the code that when they go through a gate, if you come in from the night, it will just scan it.
It
So
beeps.
yeah, it might just be that.
He just had missed one and they were trying to find one. Farming technology these days.
Wait. Would the computer not go into sleep mode though if it's like counting sheep? That get to be.
I was going to get technical and
boy.
say you could probably put an RFID reader on that, but to be honest, Paul just killed that there.
Clever
with that
boy,
joke.
clever
That was
boy.
quality.
So we did have a good night Friday night. We cooked up the food. There are videos for all of that stuff. We had the crack with Frank.
We did the Bucky test, Irish versus
yeah.
Scottish Bucky.
Absolutely, there's a video for that as well.
Don't ruin the ending.
Don't fucking spoil it. Yeah, it was great crack.
Sorry.
Watery,
No, I was only joking.
watery Scottish pish.
Oddly enough, it was. We didn't decide on an actual winner between them.
It was inconclusive.
It was
It's
inconclusive.
inconclusive,
certainly.
but that's the end.
as
of
all the
spoiled
best reviews are.
There's a whole test then of all the different types of ways to light a fire. We do have a more kind of comprehensive one. That one was kind of going to be part of the vlog, I think, where we're lighting all the hobo stoves and little gas things like this, all this stuff like for the first time at 10 o'clock at night in the dark, boiling like bags of pasta bolognese that Van Gogh had donated to us, and we opened up Jason's survival packs and we were having like some cheesy spreads and stuff like that. But I was actually like, my hunger levels went down and down and down, and a big thing that I found, and like I've talked with Jerry about it today as well, that your body craves stuff that you're not having, right? So I would be, and because of my weight, or
Pornhub?
whatever, yeah.
Mine was
I
crazy.
was choking for sex for 3 days.
But like your body craves that thing where you're like, oh, like Paul Mack even said, like, I'd love a bag of chips, but not for the potatoes, just for the salt.
That's only because I like being part of a stereotype at all times.
I'd murder a bag of chips. Like, it was just one of those things where you're like, I was feeling I don't want sugary things. I want something like a bit natural. And then that went away, and then it was just like quick carbohydrates. Like I'm going down. It was like sugar, carbohydrates. I was at a level where we were fucking dying for food.
You felt like a hunter-gatherer.
It was, and
Gotta get some fucking tubulars or we're all gonna die
and I
in
had
sleep
some,
tonight.
had some raisins and an apple, and my body went, yeah, you're grand. I didn't
Thanks,
even
Frank.
need to eat the dinner, but as soon as I ate that first bag of pasta bolognese in the water, I was like, more. And I had there was a second bag of all day breakfast, and it was like,
I actually,
Oh yeah, you had the breakfast on the night.
Yeah.
I actually,
but I hadn't eaten since 7:10 that morning. I was like, if I don't eat
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
That's what confused your stomach though, was having a breakfast at night.
Yeah.
And it's all day breakfast, so that's fine because it's,
it's all day.
Yeah.
That's it. But
Never
the thing
mind.
is, like when we were cooking the food, I wasn't really mad hungry. But as soon as I started eating, my body was like, oh, it's food time. Let's go.
yeah, and I actually woke up in the middle of the night with like I was having a dream where I was making a milkshake with like loads of ice cream and milk and fresh bananas and blending it up, and I woke up like just as I was about to drink it.
I'd
So it
love
was
some
like my
bananas.
body was like, I must have needed like potassium or magnesium, banana DNA.
Yeah.
And then he had a wank.
Yeah.
Because he always wanks over milkshakes.
But that's the thing. That's the thing that'll get you. He wanted something white and creamy. The
Calcium,
shape like a banana.
calcium and cream.
But that's
and
you
stuff,
want
yeah.
that stuff. I think I felt like my body was crying out for that. And then the sugar, like I had headaches and stuff Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, because we didn't have any sugar. We had Christine's Quick Lunch, which is like a Norwegian delicious Kit Kat.
It was the single greatest bit of chocolate I've ever
Yeah,
eaten.
that
But we
in my
hadn't had
entire
chocolate
life.
for like a day and a half. at that
Exactly,
point.
and when we were up and we had eaten, so I mean, first to bring it back for 2 seconds, the pasta bolognese that we had
Savage.
Delicious.
was fucking amazing.
It tasted like
Transformer.
Ghostbusters pasta shapes. You know, that's kind of sauce, but with meat in it as well.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, like, really, can't say enough good things about Van Gogh pasta bolognese. It's real good,
Whopper.
real good.
And that wasn't because we were delirious. Like it was genuinely.
I mean, it
hadn't
may have
climbed them
helped. It may have helped, but it was tasty anyway.
Johnny and Jerry had climbed the mountain twice and were just like, I feel a bit peckish now. Like Johnny was sweating like a
Oh my
dyslexic on countdown. It was fucking, it was serious, man.
Gordo,
I changed my top before I went down.
And
back-
again when you came back,
Yeah, like
it's a workout,
ridiculous.
man. It's a workout. Like
and you said the phrase which I'd never heard before, but which I will carry to my grave, which is so true, man. Hunger is the best sauce.
hunger's the best sauce.
Yeah.
Like whatever the fuck we were eating, it was nice.
Yeah.
That quick lunch, like Frank was waiting patiently for us to offer him a bit of it. Like we had a finger each, and then we had the quick lunch. Hey, no, we had a finger of the quick lunch each, and it was like, yeah, this is fucking the most delicious chocolate ever. But it's 40% cocoa. It's the did you know Kit Kats are the most high content cocoa of the commercial Nestle and Cadbury's brands.
I did not.
So there you go, 40%.
Me neither, but I love that fact.
Delish, man, right? So the quick lunch we had set us off, went to bed, Van Gogh tents, super warm. I had a Van Gogh sleeping bag. It was like, and like really nice night's sleep. Could have done with a nice pillow or a mat. I didn't have any bedroll underneath me, and my hips got really cold. My hips got really sore from being on the flat cold ground. Like, how did you guys sleep?
I slept lovely. It was. I wish I had that tent last night.
On the Friday night, I didn't sleep that well, but it was because I had rushed my tent up, so it wasn't tight enough, you know. So there was wind flapping through it, so it was quite cold inside my.
So you hadn't tightened your flaps and you had a bad night's sleep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jerry and Johnny didn't have that great a night's sleep because they stayed up to fucking stupid o'clock drinking with Frank.
That's the thing, I think. Like, they're rolling around in the DTs with no sugar and all the drink.
But I had a great night's sleep on Saturday night, and I was pretty drunk on Saturday night.
Yeah, you were up at the fire on your own on Saturday, just laughing away to yourself.
Jerry told we all said we were going to bed at, say, the back of 3 or whatever, and we all then went off to our tents. And then once we all went to our tents, Jerry got out his tent and snuck off back to the fire like
it
a
was
fucking
weird.
sex offender and kicked about round the fire just giggling. Like,
That wasn't me laughing. That was the other campfire up there. I was
don't
just
believe
like,
you, man.
I wasn't ready to go to bed.
Wait,
don't believe it.
that wasn't you. That was the other Jerry McCann.
Yeah, well, you need to watch him. We all know you need to watch him.
I think I spotted him at the peripherals of the campground.
yeah, because
He was just looking for a loose child with a bad hoof. So
do you know you've not seen any child skulls up here? Shut it, Jerry.
Yeah, because they never escape. That's why.
That was actually really nice as well when we woke up Saturday morning after Friday night.
Yeah.
So Frank had left. You saw Frank leave, didn't you, Paul? But
so he wasn't just an apparition that we all collectively hallucinated.
No, Frank was definitely there. Just before we talk about Frank leaving, just the last part of Friday night, Frank was so excited about the Buckfast challenge. I've never seen one man just like, well, I'm a Buddhist and I don't drink, and this is my first night camping alone ever in my life, but now I'm going to drink Buckfast with these strangers with a blindfold on.
Yeah, we could have been the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse for him, like, as a collective hallucination.
We like Frank the Buddhist of 15 years. Once you guys went to bed, got steaming with us, and he was great crack.
You could have sent, like, he could have been like sober for a reason, and you guys set him up. Like, I was very close to having a sup of Buckfast, I must admit.
You actually, I mean, like,
I smelled it. I do smell drinks now to get the remembrance of, like, mistakes.
For everyone who wasn't there, there was a moment where Gordo smelled the Buckfast and then was so close to drinking it that handed it to Johnny and ate his own weight in chewing gum just to remove the desire. Like, I've never seen someone consume so much chewing gum as quickly.
It was it was very tempting. All right, Buckfast was my favorite drink. So for the Americans that are out there listening, Buckfast is like a tonic wine made with like lies and mistakes.
It makes you fuck fast, I believe.
It's grape juice with like formaldehyde poured into it and loads and loads of sugar and maybe some like Sudafed. And
it's only technically a wine.
Yeah,
it's actually in chemical formula. It's almost the same as altar wine, but like just much stronger and with hundreds of caffeine.
Yeah, there's loads of caffeine in it, and it's great crack. It's like liquid speed or whatever. But so we went to bed. That's why the lads stay up all night. So we all went to bed, had a lovely night's sleep. It was a bit windy, probably the pasta bolognese. And then Saturday morning we got up at the
crack of 10.
At the crack of 10 o'clock. No, we were up at, I woke up thinking like, yeah man, I'm going to go out with the action camera now and I'm going to get a beautiful like time lapse of the sun. And I just got out and it was just like I was on the inside of a walk-in fridge. The whole thing was just like fog and muck and I could see about 18 feet outside the thing to the fence, and then it was just fog all the way down. So we all got up about 9:15, 9 o'clock, and then we were all ready to rock and roll by about 11 after breakfast made, and the camp was all tied up and stuff. And we didn't know we were camping the second night, so we got in the car, had a little drive around, and we ended up bedding down on the shores of Loch Dan on Saturday and got to work with the videos. Now, I don't want to talk too much about the videos because we'll spoil all the surprises. But we did ones about like weapons, so all the weapons that we got. So we had a pocket shot, we had a couple of catapults. We tried to do a bow and arrow thing, but because of regulation, we couldn't really pull it out. And we also did the water purification video where Jerry had a pump and we had some life straws that were sent to us from Fallout Free Water. Classical Audacity is the person behind the Twitter account that hooked us up with the life straws. So that's at CLSSICL Audacity. So classical with no A's. with no A's, and then Audacity. It's pretty hard. Classical Audacity on Instagram. Thanks so much for sending us those life straws. Fallout Free Water is the company that you work for. So it's falloutfreewater.com or patriotprepared.com is the website that you can get your discounted survival gear from.
Patriot Prepared.
patriotprepared.com. So yeah, I mean, like we did the water stuff. We had a little pump, had a nap after that, and then got up and we did some like fire prep stuff. So we were like different ways to light a fire. Paul is he's a genius with the magnesium wand, and when we were all getting our camp together, kind of trying to find a nice little spot, had a little place for the fire. We look up. And Shane from Disaster Artist is rolling down the hill in the car, and he had like a big tent and a load of sausage rolls and all this stuff, and it was like, oh, class, man, Shane's up there fun. It was a much more, I think, geographically accessible location. It was right beside a road. It was at the shores of Lough Down. It was easily discoverable.
Yeah.
But still kind of pushed out of the way a bit.
The really funny thing is when we were still up at our first night's campsite.
Yeah.
When Shane was ringing me trying to figure out where we were, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm looking over a lake. I assume you're down there. And I was like, no. What's the name of the lake? He's like, I don't know. And then when he finally found us when we moved camp, he's like, this is where I was when I rang you 3 hours ago.
But
he had already
the way Google Maps does that thing is like if you take one wrong turn, it's going to take you around a 40-mile roundabout thing. So Shane rolled into the campsite. We were all like, yay, doing all this stuff. And then we look up 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. We're all kind of trying to get some sausages ready, all this kind of stuff. And who do we see sauntering through the field with a bag of cans? But the Monsignor himself, Paul Kelly.
Literally.
After a day's work the day before, he promised to come to us on Friday night. He said, he said, quote unquote, I'll call into you Friday night, but I'll head home because I've work Saturday morning. Now, calling in to a hut in the middle of Brusher's Gap wasn't really an option. So we kind of
don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah,
now that I've heard all of this, I'm like, oh wait, what was I thinking? I was just gonna hike up a fucking mountain and be like, oh lads, I've been working for it. I was gonna hike back down again, right? I'll see you later. Yeah,
like, but we didn't even know.
Take a left at the first sheep skull.
He called me at 1 o'clock in the afternoon just before he's finished work. He's like, yeah, come here. I call it around 7 or 8 o'clock. Like, I see you up there. And I was like, yeah, grand. Not knowing that I had to do a fucking like a 2-kilometer climb vertically up. So, like, I was like, yeah, Paul, I think you're off the hook for Friday night. But
yeah, I tried to call you at like about 7 o'clock, and I just got like one of those. The person you were trying to call is lost up a mountain. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I'll see his voicemail option.
Good luck.
The most beautiful thing is
difficulty.
as we hike with all our bags and all our knives and axes and tents and everything,
all the
we're making our
preparation
way.
gear, the water filtration system,
Balls.
weapons, wet gear, boots, like bags, sleeping bags, like bivy bags, waterproofs, all the different tools.
Which was heavy as shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul showed up with a bag full of tobacco, a carrier bag full of cans, wearing like pajama bottoms and a Parker jacket, just like, alright lads. it was amazing.
That's his methods of survival.
There was one point where
That's his method of survival.
I asked Paul if I could borrow some tobacco off him, and he's like, oh yeah, it's in my bag, just go into the front pocket. And I opened up the first pocket by mistake, and the rest of the bag was just empty, it seemed.
He only brought the bag to make it look like he had done something.
Yeah. Well, I felt somewhat of a charlatan because I'm not really a survivalist. Like, I could barely, walk the length of myself or whatever. But I got these pants from Amazon. I had boots. Like, I had proper socks. All the stuff. If I hadn't have got that, if I had done like a Paul Kelly and rocked up the mountain in pajamas, fucked. Like, I'm saying, for you to arrive at the campsite at Lough Down in that gear, like, totally acceptable. In a survival situation, totally fucked. Like, the materials that your pants was made of would hold moisture. It'd be very hard to dry. Like, the runners would wear, they'd fall apart.
Plus, they were my pajamas. They had jizz stains all over them. Like.
I thought that was a pattern.
I thought the smell would draw zombies for a second. I was like, oh no, wait, we're not in the zombie pocket. It's cool. It's cool.
They did look like your pajamas, though.
Yeah,
they did.
They had the drop crotch, and I was like, hey, impressive. But the whole thing is, like, I got these like just quick drying waterproof pants and all this stuff, and I knelt down one too many times, and the stitching in the front of where my big fat ball sack was just went fuck it and just burst apart. I was like, oh man, like, can you imagine that happening to you? I was picturing, the lads in Lost, where they went like 6 seasons with like 2 t-shirts, and the sweat had made like permanent brown marks on the insides of their t-shirts. Like, if you got lost, or if you got in a survival situation, you really underestimate your clothes. Like, you were drying out your wet clothes from sweat from the night before. I don't know if you washed them out or what you done, but they were wringing wet, very hard to dry.
I had to get them in the front of the fire on Saturday night to get them
but
dry,
still they were covered in sweat. It wasn't like they were clean or anything like that. And if you were doing that the whole time, cycling through that, so clothes are very, very important. Like durable clothes with good stitching, good quality stuff. Leather is very important. Like waterproof boots if you can. Comfortable socks, man. I'm telling you, Lieutenant Dan.
So chaps. We're saying we should all get a pair of chaps for the apocalypse.
But you don't have like boots, even shoes, like comfortable shoes or comfortable boots. But like, take care of your feet, man. Lieutenant Dan is right. Like, the biggest thing you do, take care of your feet. Change your socks every day. Give your feet a wash. Like, I was doing that every morning. Like, baby wipes, giving them a wipe around. If your feet get fucked, you're done. You're dushed.
I love the idea of in The Walking Dead, everyone's hiding from the walkers, and then you just hear someone's pants round about the scrotum area bursting like a supernova, and the walkers just be like, they're over there. Like, what is that smell?
Nut fog. It's just like emanating from a gap in my trousers. But so Saturday then we all got together. We did all these challenges. So we were doing like the cooking challenge. We did the different firelighters, so the magnesium stuff. We also did communications challenge, so we had like walkie talkies, and we were doing semaphore and stuff.
Yeah, we tested out the fishing gear. We tested out all the sleeping stuff we had.
Rachel sent Jerry a retractable fishing rod, which you were fucking
it's actually
you were slick
awesome,
shits,
man. It's actually
stuff,
like for like, it comes in like a pen size, you know what I mean, and it's telescopic. It was awesome. We tested out the beer and stuff as well that we've been sent for Beer 52, our sponsors.
We tested out the water filtration gear. We tested out the Vango equipment against the other tents that we had.
I tested out a microfiber towel on that weird patch of dry skin on my balls.
Yeah.
And it was really very smooth. It didn't tear. It was good.
We got sent a load of stuff from the Amazon wish list, like little comfy stuff like a sleeping bag liners and all of these kind of things, which were like whopper comfortable, like proper good, you know.
Medical kits as well. We tested them out from Rachel. Yeah,
we had medical kits sent. We got all fucked up finger cuts, which will be like absolutely disastrous. If you were to get one of them and it got infected, very easy to fuck up your fingers, man. Like some good gloves or something none of us had gloves. Yeah, Jerry has like a weird pussy finger. Like, if you get that, like Paul fucked up his fingers. I fucked up my, like, all the cuticles all on my fingers were all bleeding like by the end of the weekend, you know.
That's so camp. It was just like, I didn't have any moisturizer. And like, I was worried.
You know, when you get like little hangnails where the yolks like rip. And you're just bleeding on everything, like, so if you're, you know,
if you don't have just alcohol wipes,
just to make sure, because it's all open wounds and your fingers get infected and shit. Same with your feet. Like, if you weren't wearing good socks and you got blisters in your feet and they get an infection, you have to walk on them every day.
You get staph
you get staph infection, you be lopping your foot off, man.
I mean, we would have had alcohol wipes, but obviously Paul TCG ate them all. The first 10 minutes
he squeezed them all out into shots.
I wrapped fruit in them and thought, I'm going to make my own brandy wine.
That's what to do with Nas. But yeah, Saturday was heavy, and I have to say I did get very stressed trying to get all of the video content down. The lads are going to laugh at me now. Like, I was pure like a cross between like,
it was like camping with Prince.
Yeah, it was Kubrick and Elton John put together. I was like,
I'm not camping unless my tent is purple. Shut up, Gordo.
Lads, silence on set, please, Jesus. But the whole thing, I had it all planned in my head as like a vlog, like a linear vlog, and we were using 2 cameras, and the lads had like DSLRs and some phone camera footage and stuff as well. But it was very difficult to get everything together and keep it all like one through line. So anyone out there who makes videos, you'll know the crack. Like, it was very stressful, right? It
was a big learning curve for all of us, I think. Like, because like me and Paul certainly haven't ever really been filmed before.
Yeah,
haven't been in that situation.
The only time I'm filmed, I'm wanking. So
cam girl stuff.
So I only need one cam.
Like a vlog. One cam,
you
no
just
audio.
keep your own archive.
Exactly.
It's just you and Leslie Grantham just on a 1-2 webcam.
Yeah, exactly. Back and forth.
Leslie Grantham.
Yeah, that was a long one. That reference.
Dirty dead, man.
That was sucking his finger. That was really good, man.
That's a really good reference. 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been holding on to it since then.
That's retroreferences.com. A new podcast coming out from Paul Kelly.
But we met other friends on the Saturday. The I can't remember his name now, but the guy with the kid who scared the shit out of us.
Andy and Nathaniel, yeah. They introduced us to the camping area, and Andy is a scout, and we were all like shaking our left hands, like, "Hey, what's up, scouts?" And the kid,
that's Masons.
Yeah, third knuckle and all that. And he said, "Don't go in that far," but I had to, And the kid was he was fucking lurking around in the dark with a knife, just turning up like one of the kids from it, like, "Hi guys," and he had a fucking knife. We're like, Jesus Christ. But it was nice to see. It was nice to see that there was other people around, like that. You could maybe be friendly enough to, if you were in a survival situation, you had your own little enclave that you could take people in and you'd be able to vet them and stuff. But at the same time,
would you have taken them into the group?
I don't know, man.
Man, that kid was a little Carl. He had a knife, and at one point he went over to our table full of knives that we'd been throwing at the table, and he pulled one out and he was playing with it, and we were like, "Oh, careful, kid." And his dad's like, no, he has a lot of knives.
He's had a knife since he was 6.
Yeah, but the father was the only one out of all of the people who were there at any point who actually had a skill set that would have kept us alive.
Absolutely.
Like, essentially, like, I could ask him, can he join? He would have been our fucking king after 2 days.
Absolutely.
But also, the kid did hide our only bottle of whiskey in the woods, didn't he?
Yeah.
But then we beat the shit out of him.
That's when we ate the child.
He was too jealous that he didn't get to drink. He was all like, "You are all like smoking joints."
Yeah, we're like, "Survive this, you prick."
But that's the thing. Like, we tried to go out like right out in the wilderness, and you're still meeting people. But yeah, like,
that's it.
Like,
Ireland's very small.
As Paul said, the two people that we did meet when we were out there are people that would have had skills that we'd have been like clinging onto, like, please help us, can you please
show
be
us
our
how
leader?
to do this thing? Yeah.
But they do that shit the whole time, and that's why they have those skills.
I think
they're
so.
Getting some real life experience.
Well, this won't be my first rodeo anyway. I want to do more of these kind of things. I definitely want to get fitter. Like, so for me, like, I think the biggest thing I took away from it was like a fitness level. Like, I have skills. Like, we were doing the semaphore test and Johnny was pure impressed as I had all that shit off the top of my head.
Gordo actually has semaphore skills that are mad skills.
But it's just like, when you're playing guitar and like the chord G and how to change to the chord C, and you could have learned it like 15 years ago. It's in there. I have that for Morse code now as well. I wasn't able to write it as well, but when I saw it, I was like, B E L L E N D. Hey, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, when you were reading the message, you just got it. Like, it was just like you were reading.
It was like it was
word,
13 again.
It's a little known fact though that when Gordo goes home at Christmas, that's the only way they communicate across the table. So
little Christmas drink umbrellas of semaphore.
Yeah, you don't play charades, you play semaphore.
Exactly. But it's one of those things like
forces everybody to do.
I'm going home. What the fuck?
I have loads of those kind of like scout skills, being able to make like a structure, or if we needed to like lash together some wooden poles, you can get the wooden pole, the branches, and take the bark off, take the knots out, shave it down, make these knots. They're like lashings, so you like lash these poles all together, and I know all the knots to make
a lean-to shelter.
Yeah, you can make like a shelves and all that stuff out of bamboo, like they do in Lost, and I can make all that stuff.
So you're like an Irish Ray Mears.
Kind of. I don't know what Ray Mears really does, but I can make all
Ray
those
Mears
things.
does be the king of men. That's what he does.
Right. Well, I'm not saying I'm the king of men, but I'd be more like an Irish Alan Titchmarsh in a survival situation.
The king of men.
Good at gardening.
No, but like he's able to put. Oh yeah, you know what you need in there, in that alcove, a little chest of drawers, and I'd be able to make that out of wood, like whatever.
But all you're saying is we would just need to find bamboo in Ireland.
Not bamboo, but you get some ash or get some branches, pull the branches off. There's fucking bamboo in Ireland.
Did you just say pull the branches off?
Yeah.
just
shave them, shave them off. Like, but that's I have all of those skills in the pocket that don't really get exercised because I'm not put into that situation where I need them. But my fitness levels, that's the thing that I really need to work on. Like, so if you take one thing away, lads, from the weekend, like, what's the thing you need to work on if you needed to survive?
Well, yeah, I think what you've said, practice makes perfect.
Practice,
So
for videoing as well, right?
Yeah, for videoing as well. But I think like the more you do it, the more you're going to be used to being in that situation. You know what I mean? So I think for me personally, I'm going to want to go out and be camping again and doing all of that shit. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, for me, the survival side of things, I think I'm okay at, but my problem is, like, it turns out karate doesn't actually make you fit. So if someone was punching at me, that would have been okay, but it turns out if someone was punching at me while chasing me up a hill, I'd just die. So
you have to have nature to punch you, and then you'd be able to defend against nature.
I could defend against nature.
Right.
See, if I was attacked by a bear up the hill, I could deal with that.
In Ireland?
Once I was up the hill, Well, not that.
Like a panda bear defending his bamboo.
An Irish bear would have been like.
He means a larger game man.
If I was attacked by a portly game man with a beard up a hill, I could defend myself. But yeah, I mean, so I need to get fit more than anything else.
Yeah,
like
me
the other
too,
side
man.
of things, and I don't need fucking 25 knives with me either. Is another thing.
This is
because I
like-
think I might be broken.
Minimal. The next time I go, I'm bringing half the amount of stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned is like hone it down to what's crucial. Like don't be
But-
just carrying loads and loads of shit.
Our Amazon wish list kind of remit for this trip was to take all that stuff and try all of it. Now we know which stuff is the best stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Or how to do it, like the gas cooker versus the hobo stove, like your convection fire thing. I'd fucking pick one of them definitely over a gas stove. A gas stove is a heap of shite, like I think, you know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Gas stove is good for camping, but not for like a proper survival
Yeah.
situation.
Any wind or like that, you're losing all the sort of heat.
Jerry's water
retention
pump
and all
that
stuff.
filters water
Yeah,
thing, definitely
magic.
again, it's another thing that certainly, if I had the choice of all the options that we had, I would certainly have that.
I would
certainly have that there.
I'd pick Jerry's pump over a life straw.
Reconstituted penis pump it was. So
Yeah.
ecological and economical.
Bit salty water. Paul, what did you? If you had one thing to learn from your half stint, I mean, you know you weren't up the mountain, but
I would say this, folks.
From
Here's
what
my
you were
here's
doing.
my hang. Yeah, like any food that's not almost completely covered in animal feces is good food. At a certain point, like your pickiness goes out the fucking window, and you'll literally eat anything. And these lads are looking at me going, "How are you eating that thing?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm fucking hungry, and I don't have a lot of options right now. So this is the nicest shitty tuna pasta in a bag I've ever had."
yeah.
Dude, you were
Right
only
now.
in the woods for about 5 hours.
it was
like, I mean,
awful.
like you were really hungry, but you were only in the woods for about 5 hours. And
Yeah.
at that point, you were eating tuna pasta after the same amount of time that it takes me to like go halfway through a day at work.
The last meal I had was 7:10 on Friday morning, and then like Saturday evening, I still turned away that Mexican tuna pasta. Paul arrived at the campsite at 4, and at 9 he was like, "Have you got any more of that Mexican tuna pasta?" Like, to me, I found that completely like.
I had it for me dinner sitting in bed on Sunday night. I swear to Jesus, out of a bowl, I decanted it, and it was beautiful.
That's
a
chef.
Yeah, he's a chef.
So well done, whoever
A
made
bad
that
one.
Mexican tuna pasta. Johnny, if you were to take away one life lesson, I know weight on your camping pack. You said to me at one point was
Yeah. Mine was, I definitely brought too much stuff. Although saying that, I kind of used everything I brought, but yeah, definitely pack lighter. I brought like 3 different cooking utensils.
But
3
that's it. We
different
were
stuff.
trying it out.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's the thing.
But I think what Jerry said, the main thing, and I was saying it earlier, is just practice. I think
Yeah.
anybody, if you kind of keep in that mentality and you get enough practice in, if the end of every month you're going camping for a weekend.
Yeah, and I think for the regime or the regimen that I'm involved in now in the gym and doing all that stuff, it is okay. I'm building up muscle mass. I'm doing a lot of weights. I'm running on there's like a free run. It's like a cross trainer, but it doesn't have the restraints of, you know, the bars, so it has this free run on a ribbon thing, which is much better for my frame. So I'm doing that. I'm on the bike, I'm on the row machine, I'm doing these bag squats and all this kind of stuff, and then like the machines, because I'm not able for free weights just yet. All of that pales in comparison to actual practical outdoor exercise.
Yeah.
Like, I was way more fucked doing that thing than even the hardest workout that I've done in the gym in the last 2
there's
months. Like,
so much other things to take into account. Like you were losing oxygen the higher you were getting
as well, yeah.
like,
But it's just get out there and make if you are in an exercise regimen. I'm going to be putting stuff on Instagram, not like naked pictures of me or whatever, but like going, hey, you know, I went down a belt notch.
they're just for Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. Patreon.com/those conspiracy guys. XXX is the new Patreon page. But it's just like for what's going to happen in America, it's going to be a lot hotter. It's going to be weather I'm not used to. It's going to be like constant going, and maybe not the comforts of home and loads of big plates of carbs and stuff like that for like comfort food. It is going to be running on the fly, and you're not going to have a lot of energy at some points, and you have to like debulk and take all of that stuff away. But practical exercise as well as a gym regimen is I think like vitally important.
Yeah, and prepping means fuck all if you're not doing it, and I don't mean doing it out your back. Like, see, if you're not using these skills actually out in the wilderness, then it literally means nothing. Like
you can
have all the water and all the beans and all
knowledge,
the cooking and shit. It doesn't matter unless you're literally out in the woods with no other things. Like if you're in a fucking tent and you're just eating a pizza, then you're not fucking doing. You know what I mean? It's not any good.
Or like a famous comedian said one time, like if you're collecting all the canned food and all the water and all the stuff and keeping it in your basement, all you're doing really, if you're not ready to kill somebody or you're not ready to fight or survive, you're just collecting stuff for the strongest guy on the block, like who'll come down, rape and murder you and just take all your shit. Like you can collect everything, you can collect all the prep stuff it can collect everything. But what happens if the fire is at your door? You have to leave your house and everything is gone. All your prep is gone. You have to be able to be out, have a practical experience of what it's like to be out there with nothing, and use it. Like,
yeah, and unless you're out there, you're not going to know what could possibly go wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like, you'll go out there and something will happen. All your wood's wet. You can't start a fire. Fuck, what am I going to do here? What's
is there an alternative?
Yeah.
How do I dry the wood? Is there have I got like some Vaseline soaked dryer lint, which is what Jerry brought to light his fires, or have I got those little white packets that Johnny brought that comes with a hobo stove? Like, are these things practical to carry? Are they easily accessible or attainable? Like, and if I don't have those things, what are my alternatives? Unless you're faced with that, no amount of YouTube videos or anything is going to prepare you.
Jerry did bring the Vaseline soaked balls to light and stick up his arse, Alistair Crowley style, but then nobody was into it, so he had to use it for something else.
That's the thing.
My balls are always Vaseline soaked.
I think it
soaked, saturated.
Yeah, wringing wet. But I think it's one of those things where, like, if you don't do it, like anyone that's out there and they're thinking about it, just go get a tent, just go for a walk, like spend the night.
Could we please retract that? See, anyone who's thinking about it, get a tent, make sure you have all the other equipment you need. Don't take Gordo's advice here. Don't just get a tent. Get a bag, but don't just fuck off into the wilderness with just a tent.
I know, but like, be prepared, get your stuff, have some water. Like, water is vitally important. Like, we had to carry water up well, it was in the form of beer as well, but like, had to carry water up the mountain. If you're up there, there's no way to get that stuff. Like, think about all the stuff you need and go and do it.
Go in a two as well. I don't think it's a great idea to go up as one person.
Both of you guys, Paul and Jerry from None Other Fake Newscast, both of you had like a test adventure on your own right before you went on this, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just to see
Jerry
if all the gear was working.
It was a bit closer to home for me, but yeah, fundamentally we went in to test all our equipment just to make sure that. Well, my concern was once it was up a mountain and then I discovered that my fucking cooker didn't work, how dead I was going to be on that scale. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I had to make sure that everything, and just things like see if you bought a tent or a sleeping bag or waterproofs or anything. See if you've not went outside and built that tent, used a sleeping bag or wore your waterproofs. You're going by the manufacturer's label to say all these things are going to happen and that you don't have a dead product. So, or
how easy it is to keep in your fucking wardrobe, but how hard it is to have tied to your bag and be carrying the whole thing up a fucking mountain. Those Van Gogh tents are super, super light, man. Yeah. The sleeping bag was a little bit bulkier. Like, Jerry, you had some like Mountain Warehouse silver bottles, and you had that green silver. Like, there was a lot of bottles brought for us, and you had them with like carabiners like attached to your bag, but they were swinging around like a black basketball player in the showers. Like, you sounded fucking banging around the place.
Jerry sounded like a fucking Sherpa walking up the hill. He sounded like a yak with a bell in his neck, man. It was fucking brutal.
I was just clinking around like a one-man band, like, just without the string on my fucking feet.
Yeah, but like, that's impractical because the weight is shifting. It's not, you have to have it tight and high. Like, all that stuff has to be wrapped to your back.
Always.
The bottles are clanging around. It's unwieldy, and you should have like kind of a better idea of how you're going to carry that stuff. Some of the bags that you get, like me and Paul Kelly have North Face bags, so I have a Surge, and inside of that then is an area where you can keep like a water bladder, and it has like a place for a hose and all that stuff. That's a way more practical way to carry that much water. I think it's like a 5-litre water bladder, and there's a whole section at the back of the bag to hold that. If you have a bag like that, utilize that capability, that functionality.
I did have a bag like that as well, and actually none of us utilised that function at all.
I'm not drinking out of a bladder. I'm a
rotten.
real man, yeah.
Speaking about drinking out of a bladder, we didn't use the Life Straw to drink piss because we found out from reading the labels on the Life Straw that it doesn't actually get rid of all the yucky stuff that's in piss. It gets rid of like parasites and stuff like that, but not bacteria.
Well, no, it gets rid of bacteria, but I think
not the blood that's in the piss.
It won't do anything. It won't do anything to affect taste.
That's the thing.
I don't want to overly waste anything that was happening, but as I was holding up the lights because it was getting dark, and Shane was doing the filming, and both of us were the actual drivers who had the ability to get to a hospital if we had to. The other 4 were the ones who used the Life Straw, and I've never seen 4 people's faces distort as much in my entire life as use the Life Straw. What we're seeing is Life Straw is great in a situation where you have to survive, but seeing a situation where you're standing in the woods testing it off a river, it's not a nice.
It's no Evian, that's for sure. Absolutely.
I think but it was more the tall. It was mental more than anything, because we knew that Jerry had his filtered water that we knew was clean and tasted.
And tasted lovely, man.
By the way, I would fucking drink the water that's comes through that filter any day of the week. Like,
big recommendation. So what we're going to do, we're going to wrap up now. What we're going to do for the future, we're going to put all of these videos and all these experiences that we talked about. I think there's almost 20 videos that we've made from start to finish, including the Those Conspiracy Guys vlog. They're going to be on the Disaster Artist channel, on our Fake Newscast YouTube channel, and on the Those Conspiracy Guys VidMe, so vid.me/Those Conspiracy Guys, because fuck YouTube, because they're all putting all sorts of fucking bullshit dings on people's accounts.
We also have a VidMe, and Disaster Artist probably will shortly as well.
Yeah, so we might steer you towards VidMe, but keep an eye, go subscribe to those ones, and keep your eyes out for those videos. All of those videos will of course be primarily put up on our respective Patreon accounts, and they'll be up there for the foreseeable, obviously in an exclusive format, so they won't be publicly shared or whatever. So that's one of those Patreon perks you get. So patreon.com/Those Conspiracy Guys for our one, patreon.com/PGMcast for the Not Another Fake Newscast, and patreon.com/Disaster Artists coming soon. It's coming very soon. So yeah, you'll be able to get them all on the Those Conspiracy Guys channel anyway. And if you want to get in touch with any of us, Those Conspiracy Guys is @TConspiracy Guys on Twitter. We're on Facebook as well, /Those Conspiracy Guys, and info@thoseconspiracyguys.com is the email if you want to get in touch with any of us. Lads, your emails?
Yeah, our website is www.notanotherfakenewscast.com. Email is info@notanotherfakenewscast.com. Our Twitter is @PGMcast. Facebook is @PGMcast. Patreon is @PGMcast. So yeah, hit us up anytime you want.
Yeah, you can check us out at disasterartistspodcast.com. You can find everything there. We're at Disaster Artists on Twitter. You can drop us a mail on our website. My personal one is johnny@disasterartistpodcast.com, so you can send nudes there.
Hey.
Shane isn't here. We left him up the mountain, so I guess he's going to be starting his own podcast about
we had to
his new
sacrifice
life.
him out.
So you can check him out there, and that's pretty much it.
We will be doing it again, so if you want to get in touch with us, or you want to watch any of the videos, vid.me/Those Conspiracy Guys and the appropriate others. All the descriptions will have the links to all of the different items, and if anyone out there listening has sent us an item, I would like you to please send me an email or a message on Twitter or Facebook detailing the link from the item that you bought or sent us. You'll obviously have a receipt in your email. A lot of that stuff kind of went by the wayside. Like, it was very difficult to figure out who sent us what. So in each video we didn't name names for the people we definitely didn't know, and for the people we definitely did, we did name names. Now it is real difficult to find out who bought what from the wish list, because Amazon doesn't tell us from the wish list.
Yeah, unless we get a note directly.
That's the thing, like for the gift registry when you buy it on Amazon, it didn't have the little notes for everyone. It had some for Rachel, some for Christine, Tina for Sora. These are some kind of other ones.
I like, for example, I know Laurie bought us some stuff, but I don't know what she bought us.
Yeah,
so
it just comes all into one box, and the paper just gets fired in. It's just a little slip of receipt paper. So if you did buy us something, please send us the link, and then we'd be able to put your name and maybe your Twitter handle or something beside it, along with the link in the description in the videos. So that's it. We're on our way now to go and meet Christine, our super patron, and have a beer and a bit of a chill out before our live show tomorrow. So I don't know if we'll have this up before the live show, but it'll be the 10th of October in the Sugar Club. We're going to be doing a 3-hour live show, and the video of which, at least the audio of which, will be available on all the Patreons as well. So thanks very much to the lads for joining us. So thanks Jerry and Paul from Not Another Fake Newscast.
Peace out.
Yep, goodbye.
And thanks to Shane in absentia and Johnny from Disaster Artists for joining us.
Have a nice apocalypse.
And thanks to Paul Kelly for joining us on the Saturday for banter, for good times. For banter, for good times, and for giving us a good laugh in times of high stress. I think my fucking stress, my cortisol levels are through the fucking roof by panic stations. So that's it for this time on Fake Disaster Artists. Is that what we're gonna? No,
Fake Disaster Guys.
Fake Disaster Guys. That's what we're gonna call it. That's it for this time on Fake Disaster Guys, and hopefully we see you again. This is not a new podcast, by the way. Don't
we'll do one a year.
This
will be one episode a year.
This will be one, and then we'll do another one in April, and then we'll do like another one at the other side of April, and then God will fuck off to America, and then we'll do another one after that maybe. So there's not a channel, it's just us.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks very much for everybody for listening, and do join in and watch those videos, share them around, and don't forget to send us the links claiming your items that you got us. So thanks very much everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.